Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. How you doing? Just getting things set up here for you. Welcome to the Zen Den once again. I've got a few tunes selected. I didn't get a chance to play everyone's request from the previous time, so I added them to this show. And so I'll be playing a couple things that you guys had asked for. Happy to do so. It actually is funny. I had to sort of dust off some charts because I hadn't. I realized I hadn't played a couple of these songs in a long, long time. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, Jacob. Good to see you again. Let's see, Jason as well. Hello. Just looking at the. Yes. And Connie. Good evening. Happy New Year to you too. You know, everyone's kind of saying the same thing, like, "Whoa, that was quite a year." You know, one for the books, but we stuck it out together. That's what's important, right? And Mario. Oh, Florida. What part of Florida are you from? I love all parts of Florida. I usually travel there. My mother-in-law is staying there right now. I'd like to visit her, but with the quarantine and all that, I haven't been able to get out there. But I usually am in Florida at least 3 or 4 times a year. Really enjoy it. Stonewall. That is the coolest name ever. That's a strong name. All right, happy holidays to you, Stonewall. Good to see you. What's up, Vinny? Happy New Year to you as well. Ah, is this Heron? Heron? Is that how you pronounce that, Harrison? I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Yeah. Well, welcome everybody. I've been. I'm just going to click on a couple names. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? You've got your designated Starbucks in the picture. Love it. Love it. Or as we call it in the Northwest, $5. And Barb, good to see you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. Donnie! Fine, fine, fine bass player in the Albuquerque area. We did a couple gigs together a few years back, had a blast. So, Donnie, I got to make it out there. We have to do it again. You know, as soon as things get clear. I can't wait to play with actual human beings once again. I actually did a gig a few weeks ago, no, a few days ago, excuse me, with a group called The Coats. It's a wonderful vocal a cappella group, but every winter they add saxophone and keyboards and drums. And we played a Christmas show at one of the leaders' houses, Doug, and we filmed it and streamed it and had a blast doing it. And my mom actually made me a special mask. It looks like a regular mask, but there's a little hidden slit right here, so I could stick my mouthpiece through the mask and actually play flute as well. So my mom, gave me life and is keeping me alive with her beautiful mask that she designed. So thank Ann Kashiwa for that. Yeah. It's so funny having this conversation because I can't hear what anyone is saying. I can read what you're saying. I'll just click on your names. Hey, Jesse. How's the weather in Seattle? It is it is 45 and rainy, like it's going to be for the next few months. Yeah, to be expected. Jack Davies, a recent graduate of the Berklee College of Music, a former student of mine, and I guess he's working on his new CD because he's got this killer studio he just showed me pictures of, setting up his lair to create music for you all. So be looking for that name. Adrian, good evening to you. Adrian is always advertising mouthpieces. You must be a collector, yes, or a seller. I'm always seeing these really exotic, nice mouthpieces on your website, Okay. John Griswold, my friend, how are you doing? I just came across pictures. John is a wonderful promoter, Northern California area, and I think the last gig I did for you, John, was actually at your house. You did a show in your yard, which was the most comfortable, cozy place. And I remember because I've got pictures of your cat while we were waiting backstage, kind of waiting to go on. We were playing with your cat. I remember that. I came across those pictures the other day. Marie, Virginia. Love Virginia. It's been too long since I've been out there. I used to play quite a few venues out there. Hope to be back before too long. Colombia. Nice. Welcome. And okay, well, you know what? Hi, Tron. Vietnam. Wonderful. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, and Adrian says he's a seller of mouthpieces. So look Adrian up on Facebook, and I'm sure he'll hook you up with something you've been dying to find. He seems like he's got every kind of mouthpiece. Diane, hello. Boca. Come back to Boca. It's warm. I bet it is. I bet it is. I can't wait to return. So Happy New Year, everybody. If whether you have, I don't know what kind of libation you might have, but Happy New Year to you all. This is wonderful. I'm just giving everyone a chance to file in there. We got lots of people. I thought it was over, and then more people are coming. Pembroke Pines. That sounds very, very Korea. That sounds very an expensive place to live. It just has that vibe. I don't know if that's true or not, but good for you. Hey, Art, Pizza Express in London. I'm sure by now everyone knows and has heard of the Pizza Express. It's not like Pizza Hut here in the U.S. Pizza Express is a whole different level of venue. And Pizza Express is a wonderful place where artists go from the U.S. or from actually all over the world, go there and play jazz. It's a wonderful jazz club where they sell pizza upstairs, but like the gourmet type of pizza, and then downstairs is a jazz club. And they've got several different locations, and I've played them all and have had a great time. So hope to be back. We were supposed to, Steve Cole and I were supposed to be back there in June, but unfortunately, you know what happened, so we had to postpone. But we hope to be there June 21. How's that? And Michael Schaefer, Happy New Year to you. And oops, clicked and I got the wrong person. Sorry, Jack, I clicked you twice. Okay, well, hey, Denny. Yes, prosperous 2021. Hope so. I hope so. Marianne, thank you for that. The lucky one. You know what? I was hesitant to play it, but because you chimed in here, I'm going to play it a little bit later on. We'll definitely do that one. But right now, I'm going to start today off with something called One of These Days. It is a song from the Let It Ride CD, and has a special meaning to me for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it's just a fun song to play. But you're going to hear on this track the late, great Ricky Lawson. He was wonderful. He recorded a few tunes, probably it was about a year before he passed, and or maybe more. I can't remember the exact time, but it was towards the end of his stellar life. And he recorded some drum tracks for me. What you're going to hear is Ricky doing his thing, just absolutely solid groove. And then on the bottom end of the song is good buddy Andre Berry playing the bass guitar. And if you listen carefully, he's the groove master and meister. And if you listen carefully towards the end, he overdubbed a second bass part. So he's got a low bass part and a funky bass part on top that just bubbles. That's the word. It just bubbles. So I even hesitate to solo over it because it just feels so good to just listen to it. But I'll choose my notes carefully so as not to cover it all up. How's that? And then on guitar, Alan Hines. He takes a really nice solo in the middle. You hear that, but around it is some really great rhythm playing, which he does his unique, special way. It's just wonderful. Keyboards is a good friend of mine from Long Island, and that's Billy Heller from the Rippingtons. And Billy helped me out on this track. See, what else do we have? I think that's everybody, just us. So here we go. We're going to play One of These Days, and then I'm going to get into, it's going to go right into another song from the Simple Truth CD called Show Me Love. So we're going to do two in a row. If my non-gigging chops can handle it, I'll try. The last show I did, I realized, 3/4 of the way through, it's like, wow, I haven't played an actual show in a long time. I'm really feeling this. So I think we do what we can for live music, right? Okay, so in the hopes to up the production values of this little bedroom show I'm doing, I'm going to attempt, drum roll please, some two-camera stuff. So I'm going to fade to black. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to fade to black, and we're going to start the song, and I'll come back, and hopefully it'll be side-by-side shots, one of fingers and one of playing. Who knows? It could be of staring at my carpet. Who knows if my camera's not adjusted right? But here we go. Here are One of These Days and Show Me Love. Just give me a second. Here we go. All right, that was fun. Okay, take a breather here and say hello to a few new people here. Oops. And that's coming up next. Sorry, I forgot to stop my transport. Teaser of what's up coming up next. Thank you, Adrian. Saying it's one of his favorite tracks off that album. It draws you in, something special in your sound. Thank you so much. That is the highest compliment indeed from a fellow saxman especially, and thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. A little bit about Show Me Love. I got a chance to talk about the first song, but the second song, Show Me Love, is from the Simple Truth CD, and we actually traveled to Bonn, Germany, which is the capital, Bonn, Germany, to record that because my manager at the time, Stuart Coxhead, who was also managing Acoustic Alchemy, he's since passed on, he had a connection in Germany, a guy named Klaus, who was the engineer at Hansa House. And we would record, Acoustic Alchemy recorded there, and then we recorded my album there. So we actually flew the entire band, which consisted of what you just heard was, let's see here. Well, Mark Stevens traveled with us, but that was Dave Kohansky on that particular track because he co-wrote it. But Mark was there with us. Melvin Davis played bass, Alan Hans on guitar, Dave Hooper on drums, and the great Chuck Loeb flew over with us to produce the CD. So it was really a memorable time. And I've got pictures. I even got videotapes. So I was going through my closet today, and you know how the media, the technology changes. I have to actually now buy a mini DV camera. So I'll put it out there. If you've got a mini DV camera that you want to get rid of that actually works, I will buy it from you so I can play my DV cassettes into my computer, and then I can share you these videos. But anyway, we went there, and it was special. There's something very special. It's an older style of recording. Of course, now everyone can do it, be real clever, and they can even record on your iPhone if you wanted to. And we can do it remotely. That's true. Doesn't mean you should all the time. Sometimes schedule does not permit, etc. But this particular album, I asked the guys in the band to block off a week of their lives. Just block it off. We're going to Germany. We're gonna live in the studio together. We're gonna eat together. That was actually the most fun. Going out for dinner on breaks and whatnot. That's a really bonding time for any group. But we work all day in the studio, record cuts, several takes, and then leave and go have some great food in Germany. And it was a really special and memorable time that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So this recording is from that session. And then about the songwriting, like I said, it was co-written by Dave Kohansky, who you'll see his name on a lot of my stuff because I'm not dumb. He's a brilliant musician. A quick story about how I met Dave, if I can embarrass him, if he views this later. I was with the Rippingtons on the road, the heyday of the Rippingtons, the height of, at least when I was touring with them, and we were at this place called Shank Hall in Milwaukee. You might have seen that in the Spinal Tap film. But anyway, we had just finished playing. Great crowd in Milwaukee. We love them. I was getting on the tour bus, and in the rain, this skinny kid in a coat that wasn't made for the rain was soaking wet with a cassette tape, which was also wet. He was shivering, literally, and was waiting for me to get to the bus. He goes, I really like the Rippingtons. I like your sound. This is something I wrote, and we get cassettes handed to us occasionally, and we always listen to every one of them. And so I put it on the stereo system. I said thank you, and I went inside and dried off and put it on the stereo system. And what I heard was amazing. It's the level that you are used to hearing on the radio. And I called him, because his phone number was on the little cassette tape. I said, this is fantastic. Tell me about how you made it. How did you produce it? It was just all from a Korg M1 keyboard, which is very primitive, old school, limited polyphony, which means it can't play a lot of notes at the same time. And yet, this clever young man and great musician was able to make this beautiful music for me to listen to and check out. And I thought, I'm keeping contact with him. So from that point on, I considered him my go-to guy for production, playing. He's since stopped playing live, but for production, certainly. And he's working on the brand new CD as well. It's always great to reunite with Dave. He's one hell of a musician. In the interim between that bus visit and where he is today was a whole lot of stuff for him. He's became the musical director for the American Idol live show. So he's the guy that's behind the keyboards, conducting the band, and also running the symphony for the lights, if you can believe it, for the show. Everything coming from his rig. Certainly more than an M1 keyboard, where he started his modest beginnings, but he's just every bit as special. So anyway, that's shout out to Dave, and that's called Show Me Love. And I said, I was living in Huntington Beach at the time. I said, write me a song. I'll give you the tempo about here. And I got in my car and I drove up to his apartment in Northern California to work with him on the song. And when I got there, pretty much it was already finished. I put the melody on, but he had it all together in that short of time it took to drive up there in 70 minutes. Amazing. Okay, let's get to some, let's see here. Thank you, Reginald. I appreciate that. Carol Kim, Happy New Year from the Kims. Thank you. She had posted on the last show virtual mandu. And mandu is a Korean treat that's dumpling with meat inside. And she is so kind to always feed us starving musicians whenever we're kind of near the Connecticut area, or even Boston sometimes. She'll come by with a little Tupperware of the mandu. And I'm supposed to share it with the band, but I never do. So she said virtual mandu for this year, and I understand that. That's fine. Nellie Newman, hello. Oh, Sausalito, so beautiful. Now, I know that place is beautiful. I've only driven through. I've never stayed there. And Clark loves Germany, don't we all? Wunderbar. Mark from Orange County. Yep. Ripington's a long time ago. But thank you for all those years of listening. Much appreciated. Thank you for maintaining your connection with your devoted fans. Of course. You guys are what it's all about, and I appreciate you logging on and saying hello to me. It's like it's just crazy. We're just busy doing what we need to do. I'm also a teacher, so I'm busy getting ready for classes about to start next week. But also, must not forget, music is supposed to not only I teach the nuts and bolts of music, both music technology and then music, like music theory. And I always try to add to my talks with the students, the end game, what this is all about. It's not just about getting the perfect MIDI note to line up perfectly on all the technical things. It's about this, isn't it? It's about making somebody feel something. So anyway. And Mr. Kim Waters, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. Kim, I'm playing a different horn tonight. I usually play my Trevor James, which is just over here. But tonight I'm playing the Silver Sonic Super 20, which I have not, it's been in the case for like a year. And it's been calling me. I thought, I want to get this horn out and play it somewhere, so I'm digging it. It's got I don't know if you could tell out there through the clip-on mic and the internet and all that, but to me, as the guy behind the horn, it has a certain buttery, that's the best way I can describe it, creamy quality or something like that I just am feeling right now for these songs. So anyway. Oh, speaking of Kim Waters, this is a perfect segue, Kim. You logged on at the right time. The next song I'd like to play for you is also on alto, and this is something called When It Feels Good that Kim Waters co-wrote with me, and I should say Kim wrote most of it and did most of the work, and I helped out with the melody. But he not only did he write the song, he programmed it, and he played keyboards, and he played 3 different clavinet parts. I don't know if you remember, Kim, but it's funky. I kept all of them. Usually you just keep 1 or 2, but I had to keep all 3 because they all worked. Like Stevie Wonder, like a puzzle. They just worked together. So this song we wrote together, and it has 12 seconds of fame. I'll make the story short. We wrote the song. It came out on an album called Back in the Day. And then I got an email shortly after that album got released from Tom Hanks' production company, Playtone, to see if they could use this song in an upcoming movie, Paramount Pictures, featuring Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts, which I was like, what? Are you kidding? Of course you can. And it was legit. I thought it was like a fake thing. It was legit, and they actually used the song, When It Feels Good, in the movie called Larry Crown. And my wife and I went to the theater to watch it, and we missed it, didn't hear it. We thought it got cut. Turns out it just mixed really, really, really low in the movie and on top of it is this very funny dialogue between Julia Roberts and Bryan Cranston, her husband, soon to be ex-husband in the movie. And they're having a very funny argument with witty banter that ends their marriage, which is a sad thing, but done in a funny way. And they're leaving this restaurant in a fury, barking at each other. And when the door opens from the restaurant, you hear this song playing like it's coming from an AM radio in the kitchen. It gets really faint. And then, of course, the door closes, and that's it. It was 12 and a half seconds. 12 and a half seconds. That's right. So that's all we got. But anyway, I'd like to play it for you. I'm just killing me that we don't have the technology quite yet here in 2020 to play together. I think next year we will, and I'll call on Kim to play it with me. That would be great. So here we go. Here is something called When It Feels Good. You have to, we have no, I didn't have the rights to grab the movie clip and play it for you. You know, from Paramount Pictures. They'd probably come after me, so I was unable to have the clip to play for you. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you just have to imagine in your head Julia Roberts and Bryan Cranston arguing while I play the song. Okay, let me get set up here. Here is When It Feels Good. All right. When It Feels Good, co-written by Kim Waters. Gotta catch my breath after that one. It's so funny. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you. Stonewall, thank you. How'd you give it up for Stonewall? Come on. You can't underplay for Stonewall. You got to give him the groove. Hi, Jim. Welcome. Happy New Year to you as well from Florida. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And Donnie had a question here. There's a comment. Yes, we've used him in the past. Donnie's been great. Thank you, Donnie. Absolutely. We'll do more. And thank you, Andre. I'm sorry, Alexander. Appreciate that. And Marie, thank you very much. So I was kind of getting into it. Lost myself for a moment, which I guess you're supposed to do as much as you can in a situation like this when you're playing with tracks. But I realized, oh wait, the band's not going to listen to me, and they're not going to catch my cue to go out. So I had to kind of peek at my transport and go like, how much time is there left? And I thought I was done with the solo, but I had to add a little extra juice to it. So one of those things. You're playing sort of emotionally, sonically, and visually too these days. Hello from Houston. Love Houston. I remember a place called Rockefeller's. Carrie, is Rockefeller's even in existence? Has it become a restaurant, or is it still a venue? That I have the most fond memories of playing Rockefeller's in Houston. It was amazing. And George Shelby, fine saxophone player. Hey, George. Pure butter. That's all I've ever heard. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's very nice of you. Yeah, it gives me... I like this horn because it can shift gears. You can back off on it and get a real, like we say, a buttery sound down low. And if you push it, it'll kind of open up for you in a nice way, and you can kind of ride on top of a funky groove like that. So, it's like I just want what every saxophone player wants. It's just everything. Everything, so I don't have to do anything. That's what it is. Oh, sad news from Houston, folks. Rockefeller's is closed. That's okay. We'll find other venues to music. I'm a very firm. You're talking to a jazz musician. Music will find a way. It will find a way. Hey, Miguel, Mexico. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming in. Carrie says she was the music director for Coda. Oh, okay. Very nice. Very nice. As a radio station in the area. So, well, thank you for tuning in here into the 2020 version of local radio. my little basement here. Very nice. I think I might have missed. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna scroll back up. I hope I missed someone. Oh, Stonewall again. Thank you so much for the kind words. And Birdie's digging it. Yeah, Denny was teasing me. He didn't mention all the royalties from the movie. Now, in full disclosure, Kim will chime in. They paid us decently for the right to use the song in a movie. There's what they call upfront meeting, like a synchronization fee. So that was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about, but it was nice. And then I thought, but the real money is going to be the royalties. And so I waited for 2.5 years for it to finally get on HBO. Larry Crown to get on HBO. And as I'm looking at my HBO menu on my satellite television, I'm seeing, how HBO does it. The Larry Crown on this channel of HBO, and then on this channel on HD, and Larry Crown everywhere this one summer. I'm thinking, oh boy, they're playing it all over the place. This is going to be great. So in fact, I got my, what they call an ASCAP royalty statement, which we get every month. Mine are usually the size of a regular envelope with one page in it that says, you didn't make much, Jeff. But this summer, I got a royalty statement that was like thick, like a book, page after page of Larry Crown synchronizations. And I was so excited. And I'm like thumbing through it, really excited. It's like a little tiny phone book. And I'm getting to the end of the page. And Kim, you can verify this, unless all the money went to you. It was like $54. And that's the end of the story of my royalties with that song. And Larry Crown. I don't hold it against Tom Hanks. That's just the way the movie business goes. So I'm good with it. I'm okay. In fact, Mr. Hanks, if you'd like to use any of my music, you're more than welcome to. We'll work on a deal. So now this is a place. I'm sorry if my jingling, my mic's picking up everything. I'm trying to drink this drink discreetly. I'm sorry if it's distracting, but Edgar, hello from Costa Rica. That is one place I've never been, and I would love to go. Edgar, you have to tell me, are there venues for American artists to come by and play some small jazz gigs? I would love to do it. Here is something from Edgar as well. What Jody Jazz piece are you playing? Great question. It is the Jody Jazz. Let me see if I get this right without stumbling. The Jody Jazz HR Star Custom Dark 7 on the alto. I think that's right. HR Star Custom Dark 7 on the alto, and I play an 8 on the tenor. And it was a switch. I had come from the Jody Jazz DV line of mouthpieces, which are wonderful. I played them for like decades. As long as they've been out, I played them until recently. And the reason why I switched is I find because Jody does a great job of design, and his facings are really even, and the result to the player is it's easy to blow through it. It's very comfortable and has a lot of flexibility playing low and high. You can get all over the horn. And but the sound is slightly different than the DV, as you'd expect. It's a hard rubber mouthpiece, and so as a result, the sound is, we'll use the same term, a little bit butterier. Is that a word? Butterier? Anyway, a little creamier, a little more gentle, but not like old man from the 1940s, but you can actually get some contemporary flair out of the mouthpiece as well. It's just I have a little more control over the tone, a little more depth of color, I think, when I'm playing it. That's why I play it. So anyway, I like it. Yeah. Arnell, hello from Tampa. Love Tampa. Got many friends there. That Tampa. If I had to live in Florida, I would choose the West Coast for sure. Although I don't know about the hurricanes, how often they come, but that West Coast is very magical and very beautiful. Clearwater, Tampa area, just gorgeous. Yeah, real nice. Like I say, I haven't been there in a while. There used to be a place called the Lobster Pot. Bistro. I don't know if it's still open or not, but these are small venues. They're actually not too small. It's like a medium-sized venue where it's primarily a restaurant, and there are many like this out there. And then they added music later, and it was fun because you have to understand what makes a venue memorable and what makes a venue, like, for an artist that wants to go back is, yes, I mean, the food, okay, that's part of it. The food, having that great food is one thing, but truly, and all joking aside, it's you guys showing up. That's why we come here. It's not like a coincidence. We're going to Tampa or wherever else we're going, so that because we know you're going to be there, and we want to be there with you to play some music for you. It's all about you. So you guys are what make any venue special, and there are many throughout the U.S. that I've had the privilege to play. One came. I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know why I remember the name. Nick. Anyone from Omaha here? Nick and Eric's something bowl, Super Bowl, not Super Bowl. It was a clever name, Nick and Eric's whatever, Thunder Bowl or something like that. It's a bowling alley, literally a bowling alley, with a jazz club attached to it or a nightclub attached to it. So we literally change where the team, like it was team night, league night, and there are all these people bowling. You could hear the pins crashing, and we got changed. This is the Rippingtons tour. And we walked past all the lanes into the jazz portion of the building and had a great concert there. I think it was in Omaha, Nebraska some years ago. But, sometimes it becomes a blur. Not that one. I remember League Night. And hope to. I don't know if they're still doing music, but I'll go back. They gave us free, bowling. What more could you ask for? Hello, Roxy. From Manila. I wasn't sure where you were from, but thank you for including that. Good to see you, Roxy. Arnell saw us last in Clearwater. Yeah, Clearwater. I don't remember either. Oh, it might have been with, I don't know if this is the gig you're thinking of, but Clearwater pops into my head. It was like the week after 9/11, like really soon after. and we weren't sure. I was with the Acoustic Alchemy at the time, so it may or may not be the gig you're talking about. But I do remember we played Clearwater shortly after 9/11, and it was kind of eerie to travel and the whole thing. But again, everyone turning out to listen to the music, and it's not like we're pretending that nothing happened. It's not about that. It's not about denial or anything like that. It's in a part, I think, about going forward, and following through with the plans that you had laid. Like people had purchased tickets, and we had planned to go there, and like we said, collectively, let's do this. Let's go forward. So I remember that very clearly, though. I don't know if that's the gig you were talking about, but anyway, nice to see you. Oh, it was a small club, Arnold says. Okay. Yeah, this was a theater I was thinking of. Oh, well, Maury, there's an ulterior motive to my backstory. First of all, I love speaking and conversing with you and sharing some stories and mostly answering questions because it also gives my chops a chance to rest. So, yeah. Well, I think the next song I'd like to play for you, with your kind permission, is something called Hopeful. And Hopeful is something that's appropriate for the time, certainly. And it is one of the songs from the brand new CD. And on this one, speaking of Tampa area, is the great Ron Reinhardt on keyboards and synth. So you're going to hear Ron throughout, and then we're going to trade a little bit towards the end. And it's there's a little interlude in the middle that has sort of an ode to the Florida vibe. It's got a steel drum interlude, which I think is kind of fun. And then this is going to segue right into a song that I have not played in years. It's not false modesty. I just hope I don't mess it up. It's called Wait and See, that someone had requested. And it's off of the Peace of Mind CD. And I was doing a little bit of reminiscing about this song, which was written by Dave Raschuti. And I'm sorry, Dave Raschuti, Mike Raschuti, sorry, Mike Raschuti. And he did a beautiful job tracking some real piano on this. He wrote the song, and I'm just delighted to relearn it. Because like I said, it's been a few years. I had to dust off the chart, so I'm going to be peeking at it as I play. As a matter of fact, maybe I should put my reading glasses on to avoid any tragedy. And then I said, so we're going to start with Hopeful, which is off the new CD, and then we're going to go into Wait and See. Okay. Give me a second to get it all set up. Make sure I got everything clicking right. Wait and see. It was I forget the year it was written, but I remember that Mike Raschuti, the composer, and I had a conversation about where our lives were at, and I think it was just on the eve of both of us becoming parents for the first time, and so that's sort of the optimistic, hopeful message behind Wait and See. We'll wait and see how life unfolds. So, thanks to Michael for helping me bring this song to life. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath right now. Goodness. I'm just going to read through some stuff here. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So we've got in the chat, if you're interested, we've got some material regarding the mouthpiece, Jody Jazz mouthpiece. That's a link to it. And you can get it from the Saxo shop in Singapore. Mail order if you'd like to. And this is some Spotify information. All this stuff is in the chat. So if you want to click over there and get some information, more than happy at that. Just click on it to show you. Oh, signature custom saxophones. I'm playing the Trevor James. Let me go back one. I'm playing the Trevor James signature raw custom. It looks like an old horn, but it's actually just a year old or year and a half old. And it looks this way because it's not lacquered, and I prefer, and a lot of musicians prefer the non-lacquered, even though it's not quite as pretty as some of the other horns. It's pretty in a different way, I think, and it's got sort of patina going on because it's not lacquered, and we like, or those of us that play unlacquered horns like them. I'll speak for all of us, all right, because there's a quality to the way the metal vibrates freely that we like. There's a responsiveness in tonality that I think we are drawn to. At least that's what it is for me, so I can speak for myself, I guess. Hello, Deborah. Yes. Live jazz and joy. The two go together well. And hey, Jay Puente. Hey, man. Wonderful percussionist from the Florida area. Used to play with my group. Used to sit in, years ago, in Orlando. There was a jazz club at Disneyland in their Pleasure Island area, which is more of the adult part of the park, where they had bars and restaurants and things like that. And there was a jazz club there called Pleasure Island Jazz Club. And we would go there and play there at least twice a year, 3 times a year. It was a lot of fun. I remember very pleasant memories about that place. Let's see. Maybe if I drink my water, it'll be more quiet. Leonard, I guess that's good advice. If we wash our hands, maybe we can get some. After you applaud, then you can wash your hands, and we can have some live gigs. I agree with you. Thank you, Edgar. I appreciate that. It's a work in progress. I'm always, trying to get there. And George. Oh, thank you. The loop station, I'll tell you what, I promised this in the new year. I haven't had time yet, but I will get to it. George is asking about the Boss loop station, which I used to use with my Ewing, because it was a pedal board that had like a drum machine in it, and you can do 3 loops, which is great, and there's some stuff on YouTube you can check out. But what you should know is the loop piece that I did, that so many people got a chance to view, was actually only part of the piece that I wanted to do. So it's been this long. I had to wait for technology to catch up. You can do this looping thing, which is where you create a recording, 4 bars long or something, and then you put another recording on top of it and another one on top of that, and you have a section playing. And I do this loop performance with my iwi, electric wind instrument. But the song that's in my head, has been in my head for over 10 years, has got 5 parts to it. So I can never pull off the whole thing. So until now, there's a little pedal, which I'll get a camera on the next time I do this thing. If I do my iwi piece, I'll make sure I have a camera for my foot so you can see the pedal. And it's called Aeros, A-E-R-O-S. And it's a really cool looping device that you can do 6 loops. So finally, at last, there's a little piece that's portable enough, and I can pull off the full arrangement of the thing I've been wanting to do. And so now all I have to do is practice it to make sure, because you can't, there's no going back once you start a loop station. You gotta nail it. So let me get it up to snuff for you, presentable for you, and I promise to play you in 2021. That gives me 365 days, the loop piece on this new machine. I'm looking forward to doing that. Thank you, Nellie. Hey, Mark. You know what? I wasn't planning on playing iwi tonight. Darn it! I promise. I played it last time, and I will play it the next time for sure. Yeah. Free flyer. I'll add that to the list. Thank you. Duly noted. This is how I come up with my lists of what to play. People either email me or on Facebook or Instagram. They just kind of come in and say, "Hey, it would be cool if you played this," and I make a note of it and search my hard drives to find the backing tracks for those songs, and we go off and running. So I will play Free Flyer next time. That's a fun song. That was yeah, I remember that. It's so funny because if you do. I'm working on my 11th CD now, so if it's 10 songs per CD plus sax pack stuff plus Rippington stuff, it's a lot of songs that are in your head, and I'm so lucky to have had them all, but I can't keep them all there all the time in the forefront, so I have to go back and research and relearn, and it's all fun. That's what music's about, trying to get better. Oh, and Denny was requesting Slide. Thank you. I don't know if I have a track, meaning a backing track. I will look for that. I will look for Slide. Yeah. Well, let's see. What else can I talk about? Oh, I wanted to. A couple months ago, this popped in my head, and I just wanted to touch on it again. For those of you who are musicians, I see a lot of saxophone players, and I'm not just saxophone players, just musicians listening in, or even you don't have to be professional. I just wanted to share something with you. It's a funny story that I've told before, but I thought about it again because. Like most saxophone players, I am a huge fan of the old school greats who I consider like Ben Webster, Lester Young. I was just listening to a YouTube thing yesterday of them together. That old school sound all the way up to the contemporary people. And it's all music to me. It's all beautiful and it's all musical. And each era has something to offer. And so when I went to Berkeley, when I was in college, it was all about Michael Brecker at that time. And he was on fire, as he was for his entire career. I mean, everyone, like a light, and we were moths to a flame. Everyone's attracted to Michael Brecker. And if you are a musician, you've probably heard the name Michael Brecker. He is regarded as probably the most cutting-edge, most brilliant saxophone player of our time. One of them, certainly. Anyway, he passed on several years back. But rewinding the tape back, when I was with the Rippingtons, I was in Aruba, and we did a press conference. So the Brecker brothers were there, the Candy Dulfer was there, and the Rippingtons were there. And so we're all together having, finger sandwiches and talking to the press and all that. And then it came time to play. It was all good, and everyone couldn't have been nicer. Everyone was just great. And so Candy went on first, which I was surprised. I guess they went Candy, Rippingtons, and I think the Brecker brothers had actually played the day before. And so Candy hits the stage and is killing. And the show was like, oh my God, how am I going to even compare to that saxophone playing? Because it sounded so good and so funky. And I hit the stage, and I guess what I wanted to share with you was I just had no faith in myself. I had zero. I wanted to run to the hotel and hop on a plane and leave. I just had nothing in me. Nothing in the tank, so to speak. And I just like, come on, let's be professional. Do your best, Remember all the things you've been taught. Your training has to come into play now. Get out there and do it. And I'm just trying to talk two sides of myself, and if this is the part I'm kind of getting at, is if every musician, they live in their head. When you play well one night, it's because there's no voices in your head. It's just music. But so often we get into our head and we have this conversation of, oh man, you should have practiced more. This reed's no good. The horn's no good. It's, on and on and on. And so what made it worse is, so she was great. Crowd went crazy. Ripping Tunes go on. I'm like, okay, here we go. Stand and deliver. And who's in the front row but Michael Brecker? Standing, and it was a place where there weren't seats. It was like where you stood outside, and he was like this, with his head kind of cocked, stood, like really listening. And it freaked me out. And I thought, okay, this is what went into my head. As I'm playing, this Rippington song, I'm actually saying, you sound really sharp. Pull out. No, don't pull out. Push in. I think you're flat. Like this whole thing that all saxophone players go through. And also, don't rush and don't drag. All this musical stuff that we've been coached not to do, I was doing. And I had no airstream. It was just a bad performance. So after I fought my way through it, and then afterwards, I went up to Michael Brecker because I wanted to introduce myself. And as I got closer to him, I realized this guy standing in front of me the whole time was not Michael Brecker. It was just some guy that looked vaguely like him. And I realized at that point I threw away a perfectly legitimate performance in Aruba, in a very beautiful place, because of my nerves, because I was too much in my head, And the moral of the story for me is one of the judges from American Idol, Carrie Diaguardi, said the best thing, she said it to one of the people that was nervous on stage on American Idol. And she said words that I try to live by now. She said, don't worry about your audience or the people listening. Don't worry about them loving you. Don't worry about that. Your job is to show them and share with them what you love. It's like light bulb. Simple as that. Simplest of all things. We're just here to share what we love, And it there's a shift where it's not about you and your performance and your perfection and all this. There's a shift where the energy is now going out of the horn, as it should, past the reed and to the people. And anyway, I thought I'd share that with you because I'm humiliated by that story because it's just so kind of like, oh, come on, I should have been better than that, right? Should have had more confidence. And the flip side and the happy ending to the story is I finally did meet Michael Brecker backstage at the North Sea Jazz Festival, and he could not have been nicer. He was the sweetest man, very generous, very supportive, and just the coolest person in the world, considering what kind of impact he's had on music. So that's my Michael Brecker story. I didn't know him very well. We emailed a few times after that. I asked him geeky saxophone stuff, and he was more than happy to reply. So there's a legend who was, one of us, as they say. Anyway. Forever. Okay, I'm going to add that to the list too. I'll go back. What I do is after the show, I'm going to go back and write down some of these notes here, so I don't have to write them down during the show. But thank you for that, Forever. I'll look for that as well. Yeah, that was a fun recording session. That was done also as a group, same group as before, except on keyboards, Mark Stevens was out of town. Dave Kransky was unavailable, so I got Russell Ferrante, the great Russell Ferrante, to come and play for my band in San Clemente. And we once again camped out and recorded a bunch of songs together. I think that's got to be my favorite way to record. I mean, we can, like I said, do it individually, and that's all cool and interesting technologically, but emotionally and musically, I like to be together, So, and I can't do it right now, so this is second best right here. Oh my goodness, let's see here. Ron Lawrence. Happy New Year to you, Ron. Ron is a wonderful guitarist who you might know from the East Coast, on the East Coast, the Connecticut area. Has played with pretty much everybody. Ron, you can Google that name. You'll see everybody come up. He also plays saxophone. I think for a while there, didn't you repair saxophones? Because I remember you fixed my saxophone on more than one occasion when we were backstage. Let's see here. Much love and respect. Wishing everyone a normal New Year 2021. Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. How's the weather up there? I bet it's cold. It's got to be. Yes, you too, Ron. Good to hear from you. Hey, Cindy. Cindy, good to hear from you. Okay. Oh, what's this one? Liz Goggins. Saw you about 27 years ago when you played here in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, with the Ribbingtons. It was Jazz in Paradise Festival. I vaguely remember that. That's, I think, St. Croix. I don't want to get mixed up with Puerto Rico. Not that it's anywhere near, but it's tropical. Yeah, I think I do remember. They put us, again, what comes to mind is the accommodations were so cool. They put us up in these little bungalows. It was very cool. Felt like an artist retreat the weekend we played there. Always so much fun. There's a rule in show business, the nicer the hotel, the nicer the accommodations, the fewer hours you have to spend there. It's never the other way around. Like, okay, we've got a week off, at the Best Western in New Jersey. Enjoy yourselves. And we'll be in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and get a beautiful, beautiful little bungalow all yourself. Okay, you've got 8 hours, and then our plane leaves. That's, not that I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm happy to be anywhere above ground, basically, at this point. But it always makes me laugh when that happens, always. And somehow I feel okay when it's a shorter amount of time in a really nice place, because I think, well, my wife Shantae couldn't come, so it's just as well. I don't want to enjoy it without her. So, yeah. I'll need a translator. But hello and thank you from Peru. Curly. Yeah. Hey, Bill. Thank you. Sao Paulo. Oh, man, I want to go there so bad. So bad. I'm going to ask you, Bill, the same questions I asked previous people from places I'd like to go. Are there places I should be zeroing in? I could kind of slip some information to my booking agent, say, you should check out this jazz club in, Sao Paulo, Brazil, that people are going to. Let me know. Give me the inside information, because I don't know, and I'd love to go there. Keep in touch this way. Well, I'm going to shift gears once again and play some more tenor for you. Here is The Lucky One. It was requested earlier. A little bit about the song. It was the rhythm section you're going to hear is not my usual people. Dave Kohansky wrote the song again. I told you his name comes up a lot with regard to my recordings. And he had produced the session. And I don't know if you remember, years ago, Lee Ritenour had a song called Mr. Briefcase. Does anyone remember that? It's a shuffle. It's like in a 3-feel over 2. What a shuffle is. And had a really cool synth part. And so he kind of captured some of the similar vibe. And so the name of the demo, I remember, was Briefcase, meaning inspired by that song. But of course, it's completely different. And it won't sound like Mr. Briefcase. But it's got Teddy Campbell on the drums, and Alex Al on the bass guitar, and Tim, I'm sorry, Tim, I cannot remember your last name, on guitar. These are all Dave Kohansky's musicians he was using at the time with American Idol. This is when American Idol was in its heyday, and these are the musicians that were playing on that television show. So he grabbed them for a session. We went to White Castle Recording Studio, I remember. What else can I share about the session? Well, first of all, the virtuosity of these players. I was in the session with the bass and drums, so it was Alex, Al, and Teddy. And I kid you not, Dave laid down the chart for those guys so they can look it over, like a 3-pager. And they listened to the demo one time, like to get the feel. And then they said, okay, let's cut it. And they did it. I think maybe it was 2 takes, but I think we kept the first take. I was just behind the glass going, because it sounded so good. And so it was up to me now to try to do it justice. So here is The Lucky One, and I certainly am the lucky one. I dedicate this to my daughter and my wife, my daughter Kat, my wife Shantae, for making me the lucky one. And I've not played this in a bit. This is another one of those songs where I had to dust off, but you requested it, so I'm going to do it. Wish me luck. Okay, here's the lucky one. And I'll shift gears and we'll get going. All right. Back with the living. That's the last song was a song called 3-Day Weekend. And again, the name Dave Klinetsky comes to mind. He wrote that one. And we had fun recording that. That was part of the album that Chuck Loeb produced. And to this day, what had me rummaging through my closet, through those old video cassette tapes, was in my mind. I remember the recording session. I was hoping that I maybe had my camera running at the same time, but maybe it's just in my mind, so I'll just explain it to you because I couldn't find any footage. It was recording that song, 3-Day Weekend, and we recorded the rhythm tracks in Germany with the band I told you about, and then we flew back to New York, where Chuck lived at the time, to overdub the saxophone parts. And he's a great producer. That's why everyone used him, and everyone used him as a musician and as a producer. And you know, when you're a producer, you have to be technically savvy and such, but you also have to be sort of emotionally savvy and know your artists and know how to get the best out of them. And Chuck was certainly that. And I was playing the song and having a hard time with the out section. It's like it wasn't celebratory enough. It was like too careful, as Chuck said. It's like you're being, everything's fine, but it sounds like you're being too careful. We need to be more joyous with this thing. Like, okay, got it. And to get me to inspire me to play more and relax more, he was jumping up and down in the booth to the tempo of the song with his headphones on, jumping like a good 2 feet off the ground, jumping up and down to get me to play, to get energy in my playing. And every time I play that song, I think of Chuck Loeb smiling, laughing, and jumping up and down to the tempo of the song. And it's a very pleasant memory, and that plays in my mind as I play 3-Day Weekend. So I thank Chuck for that. Well, folks, oh yes, Connie, you are so right about that. You are so right about Chuck. Chuck is sadly missed. Co-worker from my college where I teach, Steve Parsati, a wonderful music technology instructor, teaches audio engineering to our students. It's funny. Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much. Okay, good. Good. Like I said, the offer still stands. I get together with Rumi anytime. We can talk about saxophone stuff. Yeah, very good. It's so funny. I also teach music technology alongside Steve and in the ensembles, but I rarely play at school. And so this is one of the first times probably Steve's heard me play. But this is what I do when I'm not at school. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. A shout out to Jay Rowe. Of course, Jay's wonderful. I've been watching his Facebook stuff. He does some nice stuff. It's like Cocktail Hour with Jay. He plays some really cool music. Okay, now we have it on the screen now, Carol, that you'll bring. Mondu. Okay, yes. Jay, going back to Jay Rowe. Not only is he the top call keyboardist on the East Coast for a lot of the artists, including Saxpack, myself, we use him all the time, but he also is sort of created this thing called Smooth Jazz for Scholars. Maybe you know about it. It is a show featuring smooth jazz artists, and I was scheduled to play there until COVID came. But what happens is we have a show, and part of the proceeds go to local area high schools to fund their music programs. It is a wonderful program, and we sell it out every year, or he sells it out every year, because it's coming from a real good place. We have a lot of fun. And I think I've done it 3 times or something like that. I can't remember, but it's always a good time. And Jay, you've really done a lot for your community and for music in general, so I sure appreciate all the things you do. And I'll always say yes when you ask me to play there, including the next rebooked time when we get that together. Mark Prince, my buddy from high school. We played clarinet next to each other. Thank you, Mark. You too. Have a safe and happy New Year to you as well. Yeah. Phil Walker. Hello, sir. Wash hands, wash hands. Okay. Is that like the Zen proverb? Yeah. Just say it enough times. It kind of sinks into you. Yeah. Well, folks, I'm looking at the clock on the wall, and that's all the time, that's all the songs I have for you this evening. I have duly noted all of the requests, and if you think of any more, you can email me, jeff@jeffkashiwa.com, or just on Facebook. You can message me on Facebook. I go through that stuff and make notes where I can to try to deliver the songs you want to hear. And like I said, it kind of gets me off my butt. It's like, oh, I gotta relearn that song that I wrote 20 years ago. But let's see. Hello, Heather. Good to see you. Thank you. First time watching. Morgan, I don't know where is that? Morgan Hill, California. Is that Northern California? I'm guessing. I'm not familiar with it. Watercolors. Watercolors is great. I love watercolors. I listen to it myself. It's really wonderful. And I like that Watercolors is using the moniker contemporary jazz, which don't get me on my soapbox. There's nothing wrong with smooth jazz. It's something that happened, but I think contemporary jazz is a little wider canvas, if you will, with which to paint. And I always like that. I've always liked contemporary jazz, like not straight ahead jazz, but if you look at the word contemporary, it means with temperance, with non-permanence. It means for now. So you could just easily call it temporary jazz, meaning for now. This is what's happening right now. And then in the future, it'll be something else. And that's what jazz needs to do. It needs to go forward and thrive. Don't you agree? Has to be temporary so that the next new thing can occur. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm always trying to better what I'm doing. But anyway, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I'm just clicking here as I say goodbye. It's like I feel like I'm hanging up on someone if I don't click on them before I take off. Thank you very much, Carrie, for coming on board, clicking on tonight. Much appreciated. Northern California, I thought so. Okay, near San Jose. Oh, I've got relatives in San Jose. Yes. Colette. Thank you. Merci. I speak French. I took French in high school. I don't speak it very well. I can ask you how many phones you have in your bedroom. And I don't know why we had to learn that sentence. Combien de téléphones avez-vous dans la chambre? I can say that. And I can also say in Japanese, I'm sorry, I don't speak Japanese. Gominasai nihongo hanasemasen. So that's my apologies to all my Japanese friends. Thankfully, most of them speak English so well, better than I do. So, all right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a blast to do these, and I will continue to practice and write and prepare some songs for you. And everyone have a great, great next couple days of 2020. Make the best of it, and we're going to really take in the new year with a storm. I can feel it. So, all right, thank you all. Thank you so much. Good night.